Welcome to www.happynumbers.org. Today's lesson is evaluating formulas, and we're going to be talking about the volume now, the volume. So here we have a cube, and the volume would be, let's suppose this was a hole we dug, and we wanted to fill it up with water, how much water it would hold. The volume for a cube, a figure like this, the volume is equal to the length times the width, this is the width, times the height. The length times the width times the height. So, this is a very simple formula. All we have to do is to substitute. So if I told you that the length is equal to 5, the width is equal to 4, and the height is equal to 6, well, we would just substitute our values in here, and we know that this is multiplication, so the volume would be the length 5 times the width 4 times the height 6. So the volume would be 5 times 4 is 20 times 6 is equal to 120. Now, this would not be square feet, this would be cubic, CU feet, because we're figuring volume, and volume is cubic. If we're doing area, that would be square, and the abbreviation for square is SQ, so it'd be square inches, or square feet, or square yards. And here, since we're dealing with volume, it's cubic, either cubic feet, or cubic inches, or cubic yards. Let's take a look at another problem here. Suppose we want to rent one of these places where we can store all of our stuff that's in our garage or it's around the house, and we want to rent a unit where we can store stuff. And we want to figure out how much, what's the size of our unit has to be. Well, suppose we get all of our stuff together and we say, okay, well, the length of it would be 10, length is 10, the width needs to be at least 5, and the height needs to be at least 8 feet, let's say. So it has to be 10 feet long, 5 feet wide, 8 feet high. So we figure out the volume of what we need. Well, the volume would be 10 times the width, which would be 5, times the height, which would be 8. The volume would be 10 times 5 is 50, times 8, which would be 400 cubic feet. Let's say we were working with feet, 400 cubic feet. Well, good. This is pretty simple and straightforward. It's just simply a matter of substituting in the formula. Let's take a look at a little more. Actually, it's not more complicated. It looks like it might be more complicated, but it's not. Because again, it's just simple substitution of numbers into the formula. Let's take this. This is a cylinder. This would be the height. And this would be the radius. So the cylinder really is a circle, actually 2 circles, and then a band around it. So let's say this is a water tank, and we want to know how much water it would hold. So we're talking about the volume. So the volume of a cylinder is equal to pi times the radius squared times the height. Well, okay, so this formula, we remember, is the formula for the area of a circle, and the top of the cylinder is a circle. So we're going to figure out the area of the circle, and then we're going to multiply it by the height. But again, you will not have to remember these formulas. They'll be given to you, and they will tell you that pi is 22/7 or 3 14/100. Well, let's put some numbers here. Let's say the radius here is 2, and let's say the height is 7. Well, now let's substitute in our formula. The volume of our cylinder is pi, so I'm going to use 22/7 because we have a 7 here. 22/7 times 2, which is times 2 to the second power times the height, which is 7. So the volume is equal to 22/7 times 2 over 1 times 2 over 1 times 7 over 1. Well, we know we can cancel out the 7 and the 7. So now our volume is 22 times 2, which would be 44, times 2, which would be 88 cubic feet. Cubic feet because we're dealing with volume. Well, that's the formula then for the volume of a cylinder. And again, you will never have to memorize that formula. This formula will always be given to you, and pi will always be given to you. Well, okay, we have one more formula for volume here. And this, I'm not a very good artist, but I'll try and draw this. Whoops. I'm trying to make a sphere. A ball. Like, picture it being like the Earth. That's not very good, is it? Looks like a smiley face. However, you have the idea. We're talking about a ball now, like that. Well, let's make believe it is the Earth. We want to know, what is the volume of the Earth? Well, they will give you the formula for volume. The formula for volume is 4/3 times pi times the radius squared. And we know that pi is 22/7 or 3.14, and that'll be given to us. And let's say that our radius here is 3. Well, all we do then is substitute. Volume equals 4/3 times 22/7 times the radius squared is 3 squared. Volume equals 4/3 times 22/7. 3 squared is 3 times 3, that would be 9. And we can put 9 over 1. Then we can cancel. 3 goes here, and 3 goes here. So now, I'm going to move over to here. Our volume is equal to 4 times 22/7 times 3. 4 times 22 is 88. So volume is equal to 88 times 3/7. Let's do 88 times 3. That's 24. Carry the 2. 24, 26. So then our volume is equal to 264 divided by 7. And let's try that. Well, I'll just erase this here. Let's try that. 264 divided by 7. 7 will go into 26 3 times. That would be 21. And that would be 55, 4. And 7 will go into that 7 times, which would be 49. And we would have 5 left over. So our volume would be equal to 37 5/7 cubic. Let's say it was miles, since we're talking about the Earth. Again, it is just simple substitution into the formula, and then solving the problem using multiplication and division. Well, that's it for volume. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.